Don't be deceived. Igbo land is landlocked and we face economic hardship, Churchill Okonkwo claims. It is also important to warn that landlocked Igbo land should not be deceived by the success of the few rich landlocked countries like Switzerland that specializes in finance, which does not travel by boat and its high-end manufacturing is integrated with Europe's single market. Chino Achebe in Things Fall Apart tells a story of Okonkwo, the main character, who was banished from his village of Umuafia for accidentally shooting a young man. When it was time for Okonkwo to return, after 7 years in exile, he instructs his wives and children to prepare a huge feast for his mother's kinsmen in a gesture to show his gratitude for their support. When asked why he was overloading the table with food, he said, I cannot live on the bank of the river and wash my hands with spittle. Suffices to say that, like Okonkwo in Things Fall Apart, Igbos who are known to be outgoing are not washing their hands with spittle because across the Nigerian landscape, they are living right at the bank of the Benue River, Kano River, Kaduna River, Ogun River, Sokoto River, Cross Rivers, etc. They also thrive at the banks of these rivers and overload their abode with human and infrastructural development. Unfortunately, every now and then, one of the most absurd analyses by the proponent of an independent state of Biafra, which is that the five Igbo states in imaginary Biafra is not landlocked, makes it to the mainstream media. Last week, in a piece, it is a lie. Igbo land is not landlocked, published in Sahara. Reporters Aloy Ejimako presented what looks like overwhelming evidence on how easy it is to transfer Apapa port to the banks of the Atlantic Oguta Lake in Igbo land for the business of shipping. As expected, those without a good understanding of the Nigerian physical and human geography, no good grasp of the maritime industry, and no clue on the economies of shipping and logistics are attempting to push water uphill. They campaign to entice Igbos to withdraw from the waters off the coast of Lagos, Port Harcourt, Warri, etc. is an attempt to force the waters to flow uphill. Forget about the dredging of the Osakwe River in Hiala, the Azimiri River, or the Atlantic Ocean at the mouth of Oguta Lake. The truth is that Igbo land is landlocked and will suffer economically. Do not let anyone deceive you about that. All you need to confirm that is to consult a good physical geographical teacher if you do not have one. Simply go to Google Maps on your phone and look for blue markings indicating water bodies and decide for yourself how close the Atlantic Ocean is to Igbo land. It should be that simple. If only you approach this quick virtual research with an open mind. Here are some facts per World Bank economist working on trade logistics issues. Being landlocked is a major reason why 16 of the world's 31st landlocked developing countries are among the poorest in the world. According to the economists of the 15 lowest ranking countries in the Human Development Index, 8 have no coastline. All of these are in Africa. Without seaports, these landlocked countries pay more and wait longer for imported food and other goods. Also, they have an equally hard time exporting, with the result that they trade less and grow more slowly than their coastal neighbors. A quick look at the map of Africa and the location of Central African Republic, Burundi, Niger, Chad, South Sudan, Mali, and Burkina Faso will give you an idea of what it means to be landlocked. So, it is clear the most obvious handicap of Igbo people who are known for international trade will be moving goods to and from port. It has been argued that the actualization of the state of Biafra does not mean that Igbos will be forced to come back to the landlocked state. We are told that we will still have access to the ports in the neighboring countries around landlocked Igbo land, and as such can easily import and export goods and services. A counter-argument is that if Igbos are forced to pass through dozens of police checkpoints between Lagos and the Niger Bridge, Onitsha, under one country, Nigeria, how many roadblocks will be put in place if Biafra is an independent country? Now, imagine also what will happen if the same blockade is put in place from the northern, southern, and eastern boundaries all around Igbo land. How on earth will such an independent state be independent economically? If the movement of imported heavy goods must be retransported inland to landlocked Igbo land, how on earth will the economy be viable? I am a teacher who makes use of graphics to help my students understand some concepts that would otherwise be difficult to grasp. So, for clarity and easier comprehension, I ask that you pause here and take another look at the Nigerian map. Pay particularly attention to the location of Apapa, Port Harcourt, and the new Lekki deep sea port under construction. Then slowly move your eyeballs inland toward Igbo states for a good understanding of why seaports are sited on the coast of major water bodies. So forget about emotions and sentiments. A sea is a sea, and a river is a river. So do not let anyone deceive you. International treaties can promise access to the ocean, but the responsibility for implementing them lies with the government of the transit states. Now, imagine how happy and eager the minorities in the Niger Delta region would be to help build infrastructure that would mainly help their landlocked Igbo neighbors. They have little incentive to. Also, just like Nigeria has closed its borders for months now, transit states to landlocked Igbo land can interrupt commerce, making the economic viability of landlocked Igbo land difficult for Nigeria with known civil strife between ethnic nationalities. Landlocked Igbo land will have to reroute trade at exorbitant costs, reducing their competitiveness. You cannot argue with facts. From the analysis above, you will see that it is not necessary to tell a wise person to get out of the sun. We are Igbos and we are wise. There should thus be no need for anyone to tell us that landlocked Igbo land is an economic disaster waiting to happen. On a final note, when you show the moon to a child, it sees only your finger. Sadly, no matter the size or how full and bright the moon is, people who want to see the Atlantic Ocean at the banks of Oguta Lake or Otamiri in Imo State will see one. But do not be deceived. Landlocked Igbo land will be an economic disaster. As my father used to say, I am a teacher and my responsibility is to keep teaching irrespective of whether the students are listening or not. The words of the elders do not lack all the doors. They leave the right door open. Igbos should not lock themselves up. Rather, we should leave the right doors open as we work for an equitable and better Nigeria for all. Thank you for listening to this news. Wow, I love this article. But then I would tell you this, that Igbo land is not locked down. And besides, there is no way the Igbo land will ever experience any economic hardship or challenge or pain, because the land itself is already endowed and filled with all that it needs. So, Mr. Writer, I want to say this to you, that you need nothing to worry concerning the actualization of Biafra, because all that the Igbos will need are already on ground as soon as they move. So, with all said and done, I will say that the Igbo land is endowed, waiting for its citizens to come and make harvest out of it. Why has this writer chosen to be deceiving himself with this write-up? What does it take to dredge rivers to ocean or construct cargo airports? Have you forgotten that Tinkan Island port is an artificial port, and Port Harcourt, One, Calabar and Warri ports were achieved by dredging? Who told you that River Niger, Onitsha, Azumini and other cannot be made to serve Igbo interests in waterways and transportation? Igbo land is well blessed with human and material resources to be great. With very skillful manpower, Biafra, when independent, will build cities greater than Dubai and Hong Kong. That is my opinion. So viewers, what is your take? Please don't forget to leave them behind. Click on the subscription buttons as well as bell button to receive more updates. Thank you.